Alright, man, we're back with another Hood Nature reaction. Today we got the wolf who would be king, bro. Let's not waste any time and get right into it.
So we've talked about animals that have beef, but these animals have a whole three-way situation going on. So you might know that ravens and wolves have a business arrangement where ravens will lead them to food whether it's fresh kills or prey, and in return the ravens get to eat the wolves' leftovers. Not only
That's
that, but it
fucking
seems
dope.
like the ravens will also form
That's cool.
relationships with individual wolves in a pack and will even be seen playing with wolf pups. And that's where the coyotes come in. Coyotes are opportunists that can hunt, but they'll also try to score a free meal whenever they get the chance. Wolves hate coyotes because they'll steal their kills and will even delete any unprotected wolf pups. Coyotes hate wolves because wolves are everything they are but better in every way, and wolves will often murk them on sight. In rare cases, packs of coyotes will attempt to harass and bully lone, injured, or old wolves. Ravens don't mess with coyotes because they're competition. So here's what happens. Coyotes will often attempt to finesse some of the wolves' kill when they're not looking, which can result in ravens basically calling for a hit on them by making these loud alarm calls. These alarm calls get the attention of the wolves, who will then attempt to chase the coyote off. Sometimes they won't stop at just chasing. You're looking at about 5 wolves and 1 less coyote. And somewhere in the desert, roadrunners smoking a wily pack. And since ravens are scavengers, they get to eat what's left of the now life-canceled coyote. So basically the ravens will snitch on the coyotes to their big brother wolves. And if you know about ravens, they're 100% smart enough to do that.
Yeah,
but keep in mind,
course.
coyotes will sometimes put ravens on a meal prep too. Moral of this video, nature really hates coyotes. Wolves and ravens aren't the only ones to work out an arrangement like that. Coyotes and badgers have every reason to hate each other, with coyotes sometimes turning on badgers and badgers occasionally flatlining coyote pups. But they'll put aside their differences because between the coyote's speed and the badger's burrowing, they make life infinitely more difficult for prairie dogs when they hunt together. Tarantulas will adopt humming frogs to protect their eggs from insects, and in return the tarantula protects the frog from the rest of the world. Even ants have allies. You see, ants and acacia trees have a business arrangement where
Bro, this shit is fucking dope as hell. What the hell?
ants
Just
live
talking
inside the
about
thorns of the acacia. The ants pay
shit's
rent by
fucking cool.
attacking anything that attempts to eat from the acacia, and that can include other insects like crickets all the way to herbivores like giraffes and even elephants. And this partnership starts when the acacia produces a smell that attracts a queen ant, the same way the smell of pie causes a cartoon character to defy gravity. And these ants aren't pushovers. If an animal like a giraffe threatens their home, then they'll swarm out in mass sting to the point where they can fend off animals millions of times their size. Like I said, ants are about that action, and if they were the same size as humans, they would end the entire world in one weekend. The ants' underground kingdom lets you see exactly what a motivated ant colony is capable of. Here, very much having special ability. You can run phase with the mantis. Players from all lakes or entire the world's first and use mind this game until the coming. There is no better time to download other than yesterday. Have you ever heard the story of the Druid Pack? If not, pause this video, get you some food, get comfortable because this is a whole movie. The Druids were a famous wolf pack that pretty much dominated over in Yellowstone. At one point, the pack was 37 wolves strong, and yeah, that's a lot of wolves. At the time, it was one of the largest wolf packs ever recorded. The Druid Pack were the rulers of Lamar Valley in Yellowstone, which was one of the most valuable hunting grounds in the entire area. Thanks to the thousands of elk that would pass through Lamar each year, and as a top pack, the Druids got full control of all that real estate. There was also a coyote couple that would scavenge the wolves' leftovers, and the wolves for the most part would tolerate them as long as they weren't too pressed for food. Remember them, they're going to be important later. So for years, the Druid Pack would live comfortably off the elk they'd catch as the dominant predators in Lamar Valley. But in life, and especially in the wild, one thing is definitely true. Nothing worth having is easy to keep. Remember when I said there was 37 of them at one point? Well, 2 years later, the Druid Pack got hit with a severe disease that did a number on them, severely weakening the adults and even murking some of the pups. But everything changed when the Slough Pack attacked. The Sloughs were their rivals, named after the Slough Creek where they originated from. And as the Druids lost members and got weakened by disease, the Sloughs slowly but surely started moving onto their home territory. That escalated to the point where one of the adult female Druids got jumped and turned into a chalk outline by some Sloughs. Later on, another female got erased, and after a winter where no pups survived, the once dominant Druid Pack suffered severe layoffs. The pack that once boasted 37 members got cut down to just 4. One of them was a young black male who had only recently joined the pack. He was a lover who made moves on all the females in the pack while also being submissive to all the males. Since he was clearly more of a lover than a fighter, researchers nicknamed him Casanova. Don't forget him, he's going to be important later. At this point, they were clearly outnumbered, and after nearly getting turned into past tense by the Sloughs, what was left of the Druids basically got evicted from Lamar Valley, and they were forced to move to an area known as Cache Creek, leaving the wolves from Slough Creek as the new top pack in the valley. Now remember that coyote couple I told you about? What I didn't tell you is that they were actually expecting pups in the spring. And with groceries low with pups on the way, that's probably why the father ended up doing what he did next. Viewer discretion warning, this might hurt your feelings. Now remember how I also said the Druids would somewhat tolerate the coyote scavenging? Yeah, the Sloughs were not about to let that slide. When the father coyote tried picking off their food as usual, the new landlords wasted no time and jumped him. The slough pack chased him down and proceeded to maul him into a hashtag, all while his pregnant mate could only watch from a distance.
Jesus
With the sloughs being
Christ.
very much anti-coyote, the now single mother had no choice but to abandon the valley and find a new place to have her pups. Because having them in the valley with the sloughs in charge would just be abortion with extra steps. But don't worry, this isn't the last we're gonna see her. But yeah,
Bro,
with no druids or
holy
coyotes,
shit.
the sloughs were now fully in charge of Lamar Valley. But like I said, nothing worth having is easy to keep. An unknown disease believed to be either parvo or distemper rocked the Slough Creek pack and rocked them hard. Like to the point where out of like 15 pups, I think only like 3 lived. And it
Oh
wouldn't
my
help when the
God,
sloughs would
bro,
soon
what
get a
the
taste of their
fuck?
own medicine when they were attacked by another pack. Not only did this mysterious pack delete some of the sloughs, they actively kept them from feeding their pups by blocking them from the den. As a result of that and the virus, none of the slough pups made it. And with the sloughs' numbers dropping the way it was gas prices would, they had no choice but to retreat back to their original territory. And with no wolves in the valley, guess who stepped up? For a short while, coyotes actually became the dominant predators in the valley with no wolves to check them. Speaking of coyotes, you remember that pregnant mother coyote who watched her partner die in front of her before getting run out the valley herself? Well, that story actually has a happy ending. She actually ended up successfully raising all 3 of her pups after she was evicted from the valley. And she did it
look
as a
how
single
cute
mother.
those things are.
But whatever happened to the druid pack?
Look how
Well, remember
cute the
Casanova,
baby
the
fucking
flirt of the
pups
group?
are. Oh my
While in
God.
exile, Casanova actually helped rebuild the pack with some of the daughters. Like I said, bro was a lover. And since they were
Bro
forced out the
was a
valley,
lover.
that means they didn't get hit with the same disease that rocked the sloughs. With the druids strong again and the sloughs now hanging by a thread, the druids returned to take back the valley, led by Casanova. Battered and beaten, the sloughs didn't even put up a fight, they just left. Allowing it to all come full circle as the druid pack reclaimed the valley they had lost, with the help of newcomer Casanova. So long story
W.
short, Lion King with wolves. Long live the
I
druid.
can't
I went to a wolf farm this weekend, so
Lion
naturally
King
here's
with
some facts
wolves.
about
W,
wolves.
that's
They're
fucking
born with
sick.
blue eyes that become some shade of yellow after a couple months. Wolves are born
Wait,
blind
what?
and
Go
oh,
back,
wolves,
go back,
wolves.
go back.
Long live the druid. I went to a wolf farm this weekend, so naturally here's some facts about wolves. They're born with blue eyes that become some shade of yellow after a couple months. Wolves are born blind and deaf and are Helen Keller to the world around them for the first 2 weeks. There is no such thing as an alpha wolf, since a wolf pack is really just 2 mating wolves and a couple generations of their children. And despite what we used to think, the older siblings will actually look after and defend the babies of the pack. Here you got a father wolf and a couple of his oldest children distracting a black bear and leading it away from a den to protect the pups inside. Since more pups means more mouths to feed, the parents will actively not block their own
Dumbass
children to
fucking
keep their
bear,
babies
bruh.
from making more babies.
There's no
Wolves
way.
will howl to mark their territory, but they can also change the pitch of their howl to make it sound like there's more of them than there really are. This way, 2 or 3 wolves can really sound like 10, which can scare off a predator or another pack. This is Thor. I like Thor. When resources are high, wolf packs will sometimes temporarily join together. In 20, I like Thor. When
True.
resources are high, wolf
I
packs
like
will
Thor
sometimes
too.
temporarily join together. In 2011, a super pack of 400 wolves ran through Russia and allegedly murked
Yeah,
30 horses in
Russia,
only 4
bro.
days. There's never been a case
See, when he was about to start talking about wolf packs, I thought that's when he was gonna start talking about, but
of a healthy wolf murking a human in North America. Like, ever. You're more likely to get crossed off the census by a squirrel. Also, I went to Howling Wolves Farm in New Jersey. No sponsor, I just love them that much. Oh yeah,
Nice.
koi wolves are a thing. They're taking
That's
over,
fucking
and
dope.
that could be a problem. Now, normally coyotes and wolves hate each other with every kind of prejudice. But with the wolf population nearly getting put in the gulag by a certain hairless primate, some wolves decided that a coyote was their last option. To be fair, weirder things have happened. Just ask the growler bears. This wolf-coyote collab resulted in a candid with both parents' DNA, which is why we now have koi wolves. And most koi wolves have some dog in them, and that I can't even explain. Now here's why it could be a
Dog-
problem.
wait,
Wolves are
what?
fluffy tanks, but they're naturally afraid of people. Coyotes are born given less of a but they're not really big enough to really be a threat unless you're like somebody's cat. Mixing them together is like playing Jurassic Park with puppies. So what you have now is an animal that isn't as afraid of people as wolves and can live around people while also being bigger than a normal coyote. To be fair, they're not really that dangerous to people and would still rather avoid you than fight you. Your pets are a different story with a worse ending. But in their defense, the only reason they exist is because we drained the wolves' dating pool to the point where they had to start piping coyotes. One thing about nature, she
Yeah,
bites
it's our
back. Don't
fault.
act like you didn't
That's
hear me.
fucking
Yes,
our
growler
fault.
bears are real, they're coming, and they might
the
just be
fuck's
getting
a
started.
polar bear?
And yeah, it's exactly what it
Explain
sounds
that,
like. Grizzlies
please.
and polar bears piping each other and producing a growler bear. Or a pizzly, it depends. Basically, if the father's a grizzly bear and the mother's a polar bear, then you'd call the cub a growler bear. But if the daddy's a polar bear, then you'd call it a pizzly. And just like with the koi wolf in America, this one's on us too. Basically, as temperatures keep rising, grizzly bears keep wandering further up north. At the same time, polar bears have to travel further south for groceries since the sea ice to depend on to hunt seals is becoming just sea. So as the two bears end up in each other's area codes, the more they collab and create these hybrids. Now this hybrid is usually bigger than a grizzly, but smaller than a polar bear. And despite being a hybrid, it seems these mixed bears act more like polar bears. Yeah, that might not be a good thing. Now, normally grizzlies and polar bears are on site
bruh.
with each other, like bears, only but
Hello?
smaller than a polar bear. And despite being a hybrid, it seems these mixed
I'm
bears
not just
act
gonna
more
let
like
him
polar
skip
bears.
over that.
Yeah, that might not be a good thing. Now, normally grizzlies and polar bears
Monkas.
are on site with each other, like to the point where one might attempt to eat the other. But just like how coyotes and wolves hooked up and created the coy wolf, again because of us, grizzlies and polar bears might end up making a whole new bear.
Bro, what
we
the
have to
fuck
round it
is
now, we
that
finna
thing
find
is
out. We've all had this question at one point, and
terrifying.
if you say you haven't, you're a liar. That question being, if we weren't here, what animal would run the world? And you know what? This might be a hot take.
Okay, well, I was not gonna say any sort of bird. I was about to guess, but fuck. Now I feel like my opinion's kind of biased. I was not gonna say a bird. I have no idea what I was gonna say. What if we weren't here? Fuck. That's a hard question, bro. I don't know the answer. I'm trying to think of like boom, dolphins. That's what I'm landing on. I'm landing on fucking dolphins. If we weren't here, dolphins would fucking rule the world. That's my guess. Or my
But I
say,
really think
at
we are
least.
one Thanos snap away from seeing crows in the driver's seat. Crows,
Crows,
ravens,
yeah.
corvids in general, they're all too smart for anyone else's good. And one day they're gonna
100%,
turn
yeah.
on us, and it's
My favorite video is, or it's not my favorite video, but it's one of my favorite videos of all time, where there's like two cats, and the crow starts like fucking with both cats, and he like makes them fucking attack each other, and those.
gonna
That
be
shit is
bad.
fucking great.
I'm not gonna
That
talk
shit
about
is
the fact that
amazing. If you
ravens are
haven't seen that,
low-key
go watch that
domesticating
shit.
wolves the same way we did. Or that crows have the intelligence and a problem-solving ability of a 7-year-old. And you probably already know that crows are smart enough to
Monkas.
drop nuts on crosswalks, pause, let a car run over
Yep.
it, and then wait for the walk sign to go claim their prize. Not only are crows smart enough to use tools, some scientists say the Caledonian crow has entered its own stone age. And while crows can't recognize their own reflection, they do understand how mirrors work. Basically, in an experiment, crows were able to find an object not in their direct line of sight by using its reflection in a nearby mirror. Not only can crows and ravens remember faces for years, but they'll go on to teach their kids not to mess with you. Both ravens and crows
That's
can hold
fucked.
grudges, especially if they feel like they've been wronged. When a crow sees another dead crow, it'll call out to its other crow bros and they'll investigate the cause of its death to make sure the area is still safe for them. They're even smart enough to have self-control. In another experiment, crows were willing to deny a piece of food if doing so meant they got a bigger reward down the line. And I'm just realizing this, but that also means crows and ravens can plan for the future. Yeah, that's not normal.
Damn.
And we've already seen what happens
Plan
when
for
crows
the
turn on
future.
people.
What the
Crows
fuck?
in Tokyo have gotten bold enough to straight up attack people for food, for territory, or just for the sport of it. They'll even go as far as to purposely
Sorry,
take aim
that's
and drop
funny,
deuces
bro.
on people.
I'm sorry.
Those same
that's
Tokyo
just
crows have
funny.
memorized the garbage schedules of different parts of the city, so when crows
It's
pull up, it's
terrifying,
not
but that's
by
fucking
accident.
funny.
There's a reason why Rick chose crows. One
Yeah,
day we're gonna get
badass.
real life Hitchcocked, and it's not gonna be good. I just realized something kind of interesting. We all know parrots can talk. It's not exactly groundbreaking. But
Okay.
way less people know that ravens can do the exact same thing and probably do it better. Like other corvids, ravens can mimic a bunch of sounds, including human speech, and are more likely to do it when they're in constant close contact with people. You don't even need to listen to me talk, just listen to the raven.
So ravens are excellent at mimicking sounds they hear. Mischief, can you say hello?
Hello.
Good. Bird. He does all sorts of voices. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Good job.
Oh!
What's up?
What's up with you?
What's up?
Not much.
What's up?
Who's your good bird?
What's up?
You alright? You alright? You alright? I'm alright. You alright? You alright?
No, I'm not alright. I'm fucking haunted for the rest of my life. Oh my god.
Wonder how many people got put in mental hospitals because nobody would believe the voices in their heads were actually a bird. Matter of fact, at one point that would probably get you a lobotomy.
Yo, holy shit. I'm never gonna be able to unsee that. Yo, what the fuck? God damn. Yo, hey, if you enjoyed, make sure to go subscribe to Casual Geographic, yeah? God damn, what a fucking banger, man. Holy, oh my god.